Well, it is about that time. I want to welcome everyone in. This has been lots of planning. This is your health turnaround. And I want to add starts here. We are going to be with you and we are going to be sharing some great insights. This morning's already been incredible. It's already been the contrast of life. I'm going to get into that. But this particular thing that you just clicked on, we are so excited to be launching our book called Your Health Turnaround, inspiring stories that I know are going to move you. They're going to touch you. And when I look at the lineup of the authors that are in this book, I'm just humbled. I'm humbled by not only their stories, who they are as people. So what I want to do to kick this off, I'm going to ask Mandy to join me as our spokesperson for Flashpoint to help me get this train moving, get this plane off the ground. We are ready to pour our hearts out and give you a lot of value today. If you're just joining, type in the word yes. Just type in the word yes that you're here and you want to get something today. And maybe you want to give something. Maybe you want to type something in the chat. Maybe you're feeling something. You got something that you would like to share. We already got one heart. All right. We're off and running. Mandy, are you ready to join us?
Mandy, good morning, rocking and rolling. Happy birthday, Austin J. Haynes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
How does 40 feel?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. As I talked to you before, it's the weirdest thing. I woke up. I think I have tendonitis in my shoulder and my arm. I think, I don't know, but it's been painful. But you know what? It's like I'm blessed. Like I'm alive. I'm here. I get to celebrate my birthday this way with these incredible people that have come into my circle. That I am passionate about bringing these people to the audience here today, because I know someone's going to be touched today. I know people are going to be touched.
And you know what? They also have so much passion inside of them to share with everybody in their stories. So combination, this is just going to be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. So we're going to have some of them are going to be joining us throughout the next couple hours as we launch the book. And what I want to do is, because I just want to do this a little different, I want to try something a little different. We have audiences that are going to see this on Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, Fire. So what I'm going to do is we have a QR code. If you're interested, this book is launching. I'm going to share that QR code right now. Now, if you're on your phone, obviously it's not going to work. But if you are on another device you're watching on your TV, all you have to do is pull up your phone, turn the camera on, and it will automatically launch the link for the book that we are offering. So let me just do that real quick, Mandy. So that's something new that we're going to be experimenting with, which is the QR code, because it goes right to the link where the website is. And we're going to actually share the link right now with you, because I know some people already want to buy the book. And if you're in my community already, an email has already gone out. We've already sent the email out. It's a $2.99 is the investment for this. We're promoting the digital copy. We want your help, and I know this is going to be a blessing. When you hear the stories in this book, they're absolutely, there's a lot of depth. They're far-reaching, and let me just do a little intro here. We're talking about overcoming cancer. We're talking about overcoming being obese, addiction. We're talking about overcoming diagnosis of pain that went on for 20 plus years. We're talking about even heart attack, which, gosh, you know what? I'm getting ready for this today. Okay. And I just want to share with you, I'm getting ready for this today. And I hear from a coworker, and the coworker, I have utmost respect for this coworker. And he says to me, a guy we just worked with, who's been listening to my videos, who's been on my video as early as last week, he just died of a heart attack. So I'm telling you, this needs to get into the right hands. Like, we need to share this. You understand? It's nice we're on here. We're gonna celebrate today. It is my birthday, but there's people out there that are dealing with some serious shit, and they're looking for answers. And they need to get in touch with these authors. They need to get in touch with Joe T. Well. They need to get in touch with Mama Mo, Dr. Phil, Dr. George Grant, Simon, Gregory Hall, Amy, Dr. Kevin. How about it? I think I got everybody. But they need to get in touch with these people because they may be able to get one key, one answer. You're going to hear Gregory Hall went on for 20 years, 20 plus years, couldn't diagnose it, and met Dr. Grant. So, Mandy, I know it was unscripted, but
it just takes one step, right? One tiny little step. And by being on here, and thank you for telling us about your friend there. And may I be the first to offer my sincerest sympathies and condolences to his friends and family. That is really tough, but you brought it up. So just before I got on here, several friends who lost relatives on this day recently in the last 2 years. I've done some posts and they've connected because they've said they needed what I'd written to hear today because they're missing their loved ones so dearly. So by being on here today and taking that first step to hear even one of these inspirational stories and picking up on one little message that can inspire someone, you know, these messages, these inspirational stories are going to reduce people to tears. And something in here is going to say, my God, she's gone through that. I'm going through something like that right now. Or I feel what you're saying. I hear your message. I feel it in here. It's the stepping stone that's going to lead to them taking action to help themselves on whatever level that is. It can be spiritual, mentally, or physically, right? But there's something for everyone in these inspirational messages in this summit.
Exactly. So I know I'm coming right out of the gates, but I want to reach you. I want you to understand there's people that are battling with some serious conditions, but I also want to tell you that Dr. Grant's worked with Olympic athletes. Joe's worked with NFL football players. Like, so you're talking about, we're covering the full spectrum here of working with people who are trying to figure out a condition they never even heard of. And then people that, you know, are working with the elite of the elite. So Mandy, I am so honored that you're here with me today to help just
Pleasure.
Bring these amazing people to light so we can hear their stories that again, sometimes we need to get, how many people agree? Sometimes you need to get out of the box. You need to get out of the freaking box. You were told this, but something inside of you says, no, that's not it. I know there's more. So we're going to be highlighting these stories, and I don't want to wait any longer. I shared the link. I want to ask you to buy the book. It's $2.99. It could be worth someone's life. I'm not using hyperbole. Someone could connect with one of these authors and be changed. Gregory Hall found Dr. Grant, and it changed his life. So, Mandy, let's get into this. I'm going to bring on Jim Grant first because Jim and I are on the same platform here. Jim, are you ready to join us? Oh, welcome, Mr. Jim Grant.
Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
You're here. You know, I know you heard the opening here. There's a couple things. I know this one hits close to home for you, and we're going to talk about it. But I also want to highlight the fact that we share the same platform. You have a show, and we're also talking about getting these authors on that platform as well. So welcome. We're glad you're here. We're going to be bringing on the other authors. Just, you know, anything you want to say just to get us started here.
First of all, there's a couple of things I'd like to say. Number one, I'm very honored to be here. Number two, by listening to the other authors talk and what they share in compassion from their heart, I can guarantee you that this book is not something that you need in your life. This book is something that you want in your life because of the value that these authors are bringing to the party. The information there, I mean, we earn that through hard work and sweat equity. We've been there. We've done it. We don't want you to have to go through that. It's no fun. So that's our why. And it's really an honor to be here with you folks today and everyone out there in TV land and internet, wherever you're watching us with, you know.
Jim, it's an honor to have you here, and we're going to get into your story. And you just some credibility. You've been in radio for forever. You've had like millions of downloads, and you got an incredible story that just unfolded in the past, well, probably like 4 or 5 months here. So
Yeah.
we're going to be getting into that. So let's bring on the other authors if we can. I have Joe Chewell is in here. Joe, you ready to join us? He's ready. Okay, Joe, welcome, Joe.
Joe,
Hello,
welcome.
guys. Hello, I'm so excited to be here with you guys today.
Yes, and we're going to get into your story, Joe, and we're going to get as much as we can out of you because you got a lot to share, and I know your story is going to touch a lot of people. So let's keep moving on here. We have Dr. Kevin Jackson. You with us? Let's give a thumbs up if you can join us, Dr. Kevin. There we go. Oh, we'll get him back on in a moment. Simon, let's see if we can bring Simon on. Simon, are you ready? Okay. We're gonna battle through the tech. I can tell you that. Nothing's gonna stop.
Yes, we are. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep rolling.
We're going to keep rolling, but I want to continue to invite you to buy the book, $2.99. Well, we're going to have Dr. George Grant joining us later and some of the other authors. Let's try Dr. Kevin again. There he is.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi,
hello,
Dr.
hello.
Kevin. Namaste.
Hello,
Good to see you.
hello. Happy
Good to
birthday, Austin.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate than to do something like this. I'm humbled. I'm honored by each and every one of you. So we are eager to get into your stories. Let's see if we have Simon. Let me see if let's try it. We're gonna give it a shot. Okay.
Come
So,
on, let's see it
Simon's
work. Come
away
on.
from South Africa, and I don't know that we're gonna be able. Okay. So we're gonna keep rolling here, Mandy. We're gonna keep rolling.
Yep. Okay.
So I want-
let's go back to. Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to. I was just going to go back to Joe. We had Jim's why. We had Jim's why. So I think we should stick with let's go with the why first. There's
Okay, do
Simon.
it.
Simon.
do it.
Namaste. Welcome. So let's go back to
Gregory
Joe.
Hall's with us now, so we're rocking and rolling, everyone. So
Yes, welcome everyone. This is awesome. Text working. Yes. Happy birthday to us.
Ivy's with us.
Hi,
Well, a
Ivy.
very bad connection.
So
Joe, let's go back to Joe. What is your why? What is your why for being in this book? What made you want to take Austin up on this? Just very briefly, because we're going to get into the stories as we go along.
Very briefly is because people typically know what they should do, but unfortunately, so many people don't do what they know. And that's simply because our environment, our relationships, our circumstances keep us from making the decisions that we need to make daily to be healthy. And I want to just put that message out there that you are strong and you have the ability to make yourself well, but it's applying the what it is you really value to the environments and your relationships every day.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's a great why. Austin, you were going to say something?
no, let's keep it. Let's get back because we want to know. We want to get the audience to know a little bit about the authors. More in more detail. So let's jump into that, and then I'm going to be adding Dr. Phil. We even have Dr. Phil, by the way. So, how about that? So let me see if he can join us.
Dr. Phil.
Are you ready? Let's see. Let's give him a shot. He's okay. So, Mandy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's get to know the authors that are on, and then we'll battle through the tech. We will keep this train on the track. Let's go.
Okay, Jim. We want to know as much of you as we possibly can. So, how did this all come about? Who are you? What happened with your story? We've done the why, but we want to know a lot more about you as a person and what brought you to this platform. So let's start with who you are. What do you do?
Well, I'm Jim Grant. I'm a TV host and radio host, as Austin mentioned earlier. And the way we got on TV, we backed and fell into it. We started a broadcast on, Zoom and Facebook Live during the pandemic, just sharing some messages of inspiration because everybody was down and scared and worried and everything. We were on lockdown. And then as we went forward, we got invited to join the E360 TV team, and everything came to us. The moral of that story is this, is whenever you focus on being a blessing to others, that's when doors will open for you, that you don't even have to ring the doorbell. All you got to do is step and go through it. Or in my case, since I, stumble a lot, I fell through it, but here I am, But that's mainly, I'm a retired also Master Sergeant, 31 years, United States Army, former certified instructor for 12 years. And the only reason why I retired because I just, kind of maxed out. And I guess it's their way of saying you're getting a little too old and a little too ugly, so you need to go. So, but I tease people and tell them I got an official document from the federal government says I'm officially retarded. Because you got to have a sense of humor in this world. You got to learn how to laugh at yourself because laughter is one of the best medicines you can give yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's very healthy for you.
If you'd like me to take up arms with the Army on you being ugly, I will go to bat on that for you.
Oh my goodness. Look real good and the lights are off.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's an amazing background, actually, going through the Army for all those years, and then basically falling into the television scene on Zoom because of the pandemic. I love your focus here on being a blessing to others. What, other than that being your focus of being a blessing to others, what prompted you to take that pathway? What made you go down that route?
Well, as I said, whenever you're focused on being a blessing to others, ideas will come to you and doors will open to you. And they're there for a purpose because you're there to serve others. That's why we're born. We're here to help others, be a blessing to others. And the two things in life that we are entitled to, and that is love and abundance. And when I talk about abundance, I'm not talking about things, material things. I'm talking about the abundance of joy, jubilee, and the blessings of life. The material things will come, sure, but that should never be our focus. Because if we're only focused on material things, we're only focused on ourselves. And that's like walking down a dead end alley. You're not going to go anywhere.
That's right, because it's within us, right? It's within us to be that blessing, to come from a place of service. And I absolutely love that. And that's what we're going to find out a lot more as we go through all these stories. So what brought you to Austin's platform?
Well, before we do that, Andy.
Oh, sorry, go on. We're going to go in with a nickname.
Jim, we're gonna, you got such a great sense of humor. We see you there with the mountains, but come on, Jim, what is the funny nickname that you were called? Sorry, we got a
nickname. Sarge is very common, being a retired Master Sergeant. Funny nickname, Tix was one.
Tix?
Growing up, Tix, yeah.
And what does that mean?
You'd have to ask my family on that one there. They came up with that one. They call me Tix, and I don't know why. I guess I was too young and too dumb to ask them, but Tix. I don't know if they spelled it T-I-C-K-S or T-I-X. Yeah, the sergeant and the Tix never went together, but they called me Tix when I was a kid growing up. Hey, Tix.
Love it.
I knew who they were talking about, but how they came up with it, I got no idea.
Well, the audience loves it. So, Andy, before we transition, I want to do one thing, a couple things. Actually, I want to highlight Carmen. She just purchased the book.
Whoa, congratulations.
So, purchase the book. It's $2.99. You're going to hear, and we're going to get into the stories. But you may be somebody I want the book. But if you're like, I need more information, I want to learn more, we're going to have that for you today. So definitely stay tuned. And I also want to see if I can add Dr. Phil. Just give me a thumb up. Give me a thumb up, Dr. Phil, if you can hear me and you're ready to join. Thumbs up. Can you show me on the screen? Okay. Can you show me a thumb up? Okay. Let's go. Here we go. Dr. Phil, can you hear me, sir? All right. Mandy, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Add Dr. Kevin back on. We're going to keep rolling, everyone. So
we're going to keep going. Okay. So we'll go back to Joe. Let's get into some of Joe's story. Where are you? There you are. Hi, Joe. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what brought you to Austin's platform here. Fill us in. We need to know who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Joe T-Well, and I am a certified personal trainer and wellness coach through integrative nutrition. And I've been in the fitness industry on all kinds of levels for over 33 years. So pretty much all of my career has been helping people find wellness and fitness. But my background, my upbringing has probably more bearing and more impact on my ability to help people than any education or book I read. It was about real living and life experiences that put me in a position when I was very young to make decisions that I really ultimately wasn't sure how to do it. And I think that happens to a lot of people. And my message is wellness is something that people value. It is one of those top life values that we want to feel our best. We want to be available to our children. We want to be around and have longevity. But if you look at people in those life values, finances, relationships, faith, there are obvious signs of those values being implemented into our daily life. But one of the things that I find with health and wellness is people have this as a value and as a virtue, but the way they live daily is completely fragmented and disconnected from that value. And why is it? It's not because we don't have enough information. It's not because we don't have enough coaches. It's not because we don't have enough options. It's because people are so incredibly just in disarray each day, dealing with adversities in their life, their environment, and making perpetually worse choices for their health. And most of it is due to emotion and upbringing and our immediate environments. And my practice really is built around getting people to understand daily habits, the daily choices that we must make for our body to thrive, for our body to be nourished, for our body to be replenished. It's a responsibility, but I found health and wellness and purpose in my life in my worst adversities. And that's where many people fall. I have people in my office that have been dealing with a bad relationship, poor finances, addiction, that have allowed that to manifest in their lives for years and years and years. And they're passing it even to their children and to their environment of community. And it's just a perpetual cycle. And it hurts me to see people have to live in that kind of sadness.
Yeah. So we're going to get more into your story here, Joe, as we get deeper in, but you've already poured out an ocean of content. And I know what I love about your journey right now, and I've watched this, is that you're going deeper in to the psyche. You're going behind the fitness. You want to understand, you want to find what's really going to move people. And that's what I really love about, just having met you and watched this unfold for you and how you're expanding and you're just allowing this to take hold. So I really love that. I really think that's fantastic. And I can't say enough that this book and the story, your story, gets into the right hands, and so we'll get into the story a little bit. Mandy, back to you. I muted you because we had some background noise. So again, Ivy heard me typing. Listen, we're going to navigate through the tech no matter what. And
Okay,
I want to tell you to buy the book. Yep.
Buy the book, $2.99. Get the digital copy right now. So just quickly, Joe, what's a nickname we can grab from you? A funny nickname.
Oh my goodness. The funniest nickname was, oh my goodness, this is embarrassing, but I'm going to say it.
Just say it. Go for it. Woo.
Princess.
Princess.
Jim Grant, I'm terrible to say that.
Oh, Princess. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? You get a lot of credit just for coming on here and
Kudos.
That is so terrible.
Ivy purchased the book. All right, Ivy.
Awesome. Woohoo. Woohoo.
Listen, I want to jump in, Mandy, because
Yeah.
Dr. Phil, I want to get him on because his tech is in and out. So let's see if we can get Dr. Phil on, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Phil, I know your tech is in and out, so I want to, and by the way, who else has Dr. Phil? I mean, come on. So we were going to go there. So let me
We
see if
have
we
our
can get
own Dr. Phil.
unmuted. Okay, Dr. Phil, you're muted. So as soon as you get unmuted, we want to get the audience to know who you are. You're somebody who's been at this for such a long time. Okay.
Whoa.
Sound check. Got a little bit of echo. So we're going to.
You're muted.
I muted myself. Thank you. So Mandy, back over to you. Let's continue to move forward and keep it going.
Okay, so Dr. Kevin looks as though he's muted too.
Yeah, he can unmute. He'll unmute himself. And then we can keep rolling. Dr. Kevin's got a great
Oh, there
story.
he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Kevin.
Hello,
Good to
hello,
s-
hello.
Good to see you again. Look at that sun shining on you. Makes you feel good.
Sunny Florida.
So, sorry?
Sunny Florida.
Sunny Florida. Oh, of course. And we're in ice blizzards up here right now, so I'm kind of a little bit envious. Getting into your story, tell us a little bit about you, Dr. Jackson. I'm going to get all these names so muddled up today. Dr. Kevin, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yes.
Who you are, where you come from, what do you do, what brings you to our platform today?
Well, first of all, what brings me to our platform, to the platform, is I met Austin through a mutual friend, a beloved friend of mine, Marlon. He introduced me to him, and as Marlon was familiar with my story, he shared my story with Austin, and Austin in turn reached out to me and shared with me about the awesome project that he would suggest that I participate in. And so that brought me to the platform, and I've been so excited in spite of, life just continues to happen to us all. I know I've heard many of the stories, and man, it's just like one thing after the next. But what really keeps me going is the fact that, knowing that what I'm going through is not about me, it's about someone else that might be going through something similar, all the same exact things. And that gives me the desire to never give up. That's one of the things that I live by, and never give up. I don't know, because I proclaim that all the time. It seems like I always find myself in situations where I find myself coming to the brink of giving up. And I'm like, man, I done said never give up. So I got to keep pushing through situations. And I found myself through burnout in business. I'm down here. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. Over the last 10 years, I've built a real estate business, as have experienced some levels of success in it. And about 3 years ago, well, actually March the 3rd will be my 4-year anniversary. I was headed home from work, burnt out in business, and found myself waking up in the hospital out of a coma, having fell asleep at the wheel. The car accelerated to 100 miles per hour. So the police report says. I don't know. I was comfortably sound asleep at the wheel, and I found a dump truck to run into the back of. And so, having secured so many injuries, I instantly found myself in a bad health condition and most of all, unexpected. Some of us have health conditions that have accumulated over time, whether it might be, diabetes or things of that nature, and a hereditary type situation. But this was something that I inherited as a result of a burnout business, actually success in business. And so, a long hospital stay, several surgeries later, I found myself receiving contrary, I would say, reports from the doctor stating that I would never walk again as a result of sustaining a amputated right foot and a split left pelvis. I was determined. Once again, never give up. I was determined, and so I had to look at many different places, different specialists around the nation, and I finally was able to find a doctor in Bellevue, that was willing to perform. At that time, it was my 11th surgery to try to help me get
Wow.
back on my feet again. And so after 14 surgeries later, and many years, 3 years of not being able to walk, you see I'm walking now again. And so so in
Cowbell,
doing so,
cowbell.
Amen, man.
yes, it helped me to realize that, no matter what you go through, continue to, don't give up. Sometimes the reports may not be what you want to hear at the time, but it's that report that you have on the inside of you. Me, I have a higher power that I believe in. And I just believed in the higher power that was guiding me and leading me, and putting my faith and trust in my higher power, which is my God. And I was able to walk. And that faith is causing me to walk. So that's why I'm here with you guys today. I'm so honored to be in the midst of so many, and in my belief, say clouds of witnesses. I have so many different phenomenal stories of different backgrounds from different events and different circumstances and different accomplishments. Not only accomplishments, but a lot of us have had our lows as well as our mountain peaks. So we not just want to point out our mountain peaks, but also many of us are valley lows, because some individuals that are buying the books and hearing our stories might be in that low place right now, might be in that place where they're on the brink of giving up. Like I found myself in so many times in so many situations, not just with regards to my health, but with so many other situations. I found myself at the brink of saying, man, I just can't go any step further. And it was because I saw somebody else that was in a worse situation than me, or a similar situation with me, that didn't give up, that kept pressing on, that had less than what I had, and was able to continue on. And I gained inspiration, gained strength, and was able to keep pressing forward. So I just hope to be a contributor to helping someone else that is on the brink of giving up, that is on the brink of just throwing in the towel and quit, that's on the brink of just giving in to those reports that are contrary to what they're believing on the inside, that's on the brink of failing in their faith, because there's been times that I failed in my faith, but now I've learned to fail forward. Just get up, and as long as they say, if you fall down on your back and you can look up, then you can get up. And I just want to encourage that individual that may feel that they're at their lowest state right now. If you can look up, you can get up. And when you can get up, you can stay up.
Yes.
You can in turn come to a point where you can live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. My gosh, there is so much in that, but it's the same with each one, right? I love that. If you can look up, you can get up. And something I like to say, rock bottom is a firm foundation to look up and rebuild. And you've certainly done that. And as with each of our co-authors here, we're seeing this inspiration of never giving up and relying on the inner guidance and the higher power to get us through these moments. And there are viewers right now listening to these inspirational stories that are at that place, on the verge of giving up, at the point where they say, I just can't go on, I can't do this anymore. And again, speaking from my own experience, if I hadn't have persisted and fought the medical profession here in Canada, I would have not changed medical history in Canada had I quit. So even if it's one person that is listening to these stories, on not quitting, on listening to your inner tuition and having faith in our higher power, then this is the message. These are the messages that you need to hear to take that one step that can change your life drastically, transform your trajectory on where you're going, how you're going, and how you're going to do it. And the higher power above us knows what we need as long as we trust in him. So this is Dr. Phil incredible. But listen, we
Dr.
want
Kevin.
and sorry, I told you I was going to get these.
No, don't say that. You're going to get them right.
I'm going to get them right. I'm going to get them right. Dr. Kevin, we need a funny nickname from you, my friend. What's something we can get to know you by as a nickname?
Well, as a kid, we try to build bicycle ramps and a lot of different things are in the neighborhood, because we was before the internet time and all that. So all the kids, we played around in the neighborhood, and I was one that they called Dr. Destructo, because everything I touched. So they say, oh, there goes Dr. Destructo.
That's a good one.
Tearing something up.
You know, that
And
is a good one, because you're destroying the myth about giving up. You're destroying it. You're
Yeah.
knocking it out the ballpark. That's awesome. I love it. Love
And I
it.
just want to share that you want to stick around, and hopefully the connection works. We haven't even scratched the surface of Kevin's
Mm-mm.
story. I mean,
No,
we
we
haven't even
haven't.
scratched the surface. I mean, you're going to know. And we got some great things planned. You might be coming up to our next event here, March 25th, 26th, 27th, as a speaker. We're working on that right now. The story is amazing. And so stay tuned for more of that. And I want to encourage everyone to continue to purchase the book. And Mandy, back to you. We can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So can we get Greg to unmute? Greg?
Hello there.
Hi, welcome. Good to see you again. How are you doing?
Just 1 second. Happy birthday, Austin.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you so much. I'm humbled. I'm so glad you said yes to this project.
You know what? I believe that we're actually, born once. So, our birthday's when we're born. But I celebrate you for starting something and bringing me on board.
Thank you, brother.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, Greg, some of us know the story, but let's find out from you firsthand. Who are you? What do you do? What brings you to this health turnaround platform?
Well,
Tell us a little bit about your history. Yeah.
a little bit about me anyway. I'm Gregory Hall, born March 8th, 1978, in the Women's College Hospital by a
In
woman,
Toronto.
hopefully, in Toronto. But yeah, I
It's
was
still standing.
born on Women's International Day. So I do my best to try to respect the women because, you know, we need them in our lives. Um,
Amen to that.
um, since I was 16, I was pretty much been a professional driver, off and on, and that's what pretty much I've been doing until I started to be in pain and was searching for a way to get out of it and to continue my life. And
What brought you into that pain? What made you have the pain? Roughly how long ago was that?
well, uh, almost 30 years ago, it all basically came to a head. And what really brought it about, I'm not too sure. Then I do know now. But really, why I'm here is I really want to help people understand where I've come from and where I don't want them to be. And I've been driving around since 16, and I've driven all around North America, and I see our people walking down the street not healthy, and I want to try to change it as much as I can, change the generation. If anything else, we need to stop putting money in building hospitals and putting more money in self care. Um,
Yeah.
I've had so much success with self care in the last 2 years than anything else. And, you would think that a doctor that's sworn a Hippocratical oath to do the best he can to take care of you won't even tell you about the side effects of the drugs he's prescribing you, has your best
Yes.
interest at heart.
Yes.
Um, I don't want to knock them because the medical industry, they have a time and a place for everything. But us as a society, we need to educate others that even though they're not ready to listen to us, at least they know that we're here when they are ready to open up to be their best self.
That's right. And it's true about that Hippocratic oath, right? It's first do no harm. And whilst, as you rightly say, medicinal purposes and x-rays, all those sort of things have their place, but what's really going on inside of us? Are they treating the whole person? It's mind, body and spirit, right? And this is what led you on this journey of trying to discover why you were in so much pain and what you could do about it. So where was the turnaround point in here? Because you were doing this for years. You were suffering, you were trying to find alternative ways, you were getting nowhere, doctors weren't helping you potentially. Where was the turning point for you?
I think the biggest turning point was not caring about where I got the help. And
Mm.
my biggest thing why I'm here is to put the two together where I can get through to people that, hey, let's do prevention care instead of waiting until something pops up.
Cowbell, prevention
Yeah,
care.
very good. Very good.
Definitely. Yeah. So how did you find the prevention care you were looking for then? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I searched out to a friend that's a registered nurse, and it all started from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to dig into that in round 2 of the questioning, Mandy.
Let's get a nickname before we get into round 2.
Yeah, do that. So we know
So,
there's
growing up, I guess being born, in a women's college hospital, I'm a little bit of a ladies' man. I like dancehall music, and there's a song called "Here Comes Fudgy" with the Nutty
Fudgy.
Buddy. So I guess you know I know how to wine and dine the ladies, and I got the nickname Fudgy.
I love that.
That's very good. That's funny.
I can see you being a ladies' man. I really can.
He
Gosh.
looks smooth. Gregory looks smooth.
Really cool, bud. Really
But,
cool.
I want you to hang in there for the rest of that story because
Yes.
we're going to go a little deeper on round 2. I do want to see if Dr. Phil is ready. Give me a thumbs up. Can you give me a thumbs up, Dr. Phil? Put your thumb in front of the camera if you can hear me. We're going to give it a shot. Okay, good. Here we go. So let's see how Dr. Phil, we're going to check.
Yes, Dr. Phil.
I'm here.
Yes.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Whoa.
Yes, so good.
Yes. Good stuff.
Okay.
Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I've actually been here the whole time. I've been hearing you guys, but I tried computers. I tried my phone. Been very difficult to connect, but I'm here now. So yeah.
Awesome. So let's go for it. Let's go for it. So who is Dr. Phil Harris? Who are you? What do you do?
Well, I am a director of metabolics for one of the top 5 wellness centers in the country here in Indianapolis. We see about 1,100 patients a week here. I work as a naturopath. I also have a double master's in Christian counseling and nutrition and mental health. So I've combined those to help people. And of course, as I've talked in the past, it comes out of a lot of my own pain and victories over those things. So as I grew up, I went through a lot of difficulties. Lost my father before I was 5. My mother never remarried. I spent 2 years in a children's home. Thankfully, I kept my focus and didn't let my life go down the drain. But it's great to see the people that God brought into my life in order to help me to understand what healing and wellness was all about. And through the mentorship of 2 or 3 different practitioners, I have learned that the body has no idea how to be sick. It only knows how to get well. And it has an amazing ability to do this. It's just based on whether we're running on bankruptcy or not. And bankruptcy can come in a number of different ways. One, we can be emotionally bankrupt. We can be nutritionally bankrupt. We can be spiritually bankrupt. We are a spirit. We have a soul. We live in a body. And we need all 3 of those areas to be addressed in order to have our reservoirs full, not only for ourselves, but also for the people we're going to touch. And so once I learned how to keep those bank accounts full, my body began to redeem itself and come back around. And of course, struggled with anxiety and depression for quite some time, along with other potential health difficulties. But at this point, no need for pharma, no need for the standard allopathic approach. Everything is running well. And so I hope to continue to teach others these principles because they work. And sometimes the people that come to our clinic come to us late in the game. What I mean by that is they get to us when they're like 6 months from being in the ground. And that's a pretty difficult challenge. But what I find is that the body doesn't waste any time moving forward once we get out of its way. And so we just start removing the dangers, whether it be fear, which is coming from a lot of rejection, or we start removing soda pop, which is definitely an enemy for sure, and we start drinking more water. We start to remove interference in the spine, because we have 5 chiropractors that work at our office, and one of the most amazing things that I learned is that if you had the weight of a dime on your spinal cord, it will reduce the communication by 60+%. And so we don't have to be in pain to have interference problems in the spine. It's based on subluxation, which is a word for having our vertebrae out of place. And so we work on getting those back in order, along with nutrition and mindset. And it's amazing what happens. People begin to flourish, they begin to change, and many of them come to us on 20+ medications, all at the same time, which in my opinion should be malpractice, but apparently it's not. So, but within 12 months or less, they'll be off of all 20 of those. And this happens pretty regularly at our center. So it's an honor to be a part of this book. It's an honor to be on this broadcast today. And I certainly know that those who purchase this will definitely be blessed and will find ways out of their troubles.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I love that it's this mind, body, spirit approach, right? And the fact that you can overcome all the things that the body has to put up with, the environment, the drugs, the mental health, etc. There are all these fears and anxieties around them. But the fact that you can recognize that if we are bankrupt in any one of those areas, on the emotional side, the nutritional side, or the spiritual side, if we're bankrupt in any one or all 3, then it's no wonder we face these fears, anxieties, and dangers. And that you've been able to turn that around and now have these wellness clinics where you can teach people all about that side of the body and its natural process of turning around and healing. As you said, if you get out of the body's way, the body will repair itself. And we've seen that in so many examples. Yes. Just like when, you puncture your thumb, a needle maybe, and the blood sends all the blood clotting processes there to seal up the wound. And as soon as the wound is sealed, the body system switches it off and the skin layers start to replenish. The body was designed this way. And the fact that you've reached that, you've identified that, and you're helping people through that and getting them off medications, that is such a beautiful approach. And I'm so happy you're one of these beautiful co-authors here with Austin as well, that are following the same kind of paths on relying on our inner guidance and our creator above. So what can we have as a nickname? Can you give us a funny nickname that you can remember?
Well,
being called, that is.
Probably the funniest one when I was I'm a table tennis player or ping pong player, and actually did a little bit of semi-pro level ping pong, and I was really good at what they call a block shot, which was just mainly holding the paddle at an angle at the table and blocking these hard slams. I was really good at that, and they finally ended up calling me Wally, as in wall. So I had a nickname of Wally because I was very good at blocking those slam shots. So that's probably the funniest nickname I can think of, was Wally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
That is a good one. That's funny. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Okay, are you ready to move on to the next co-author, Austin?
I want to highlight something on Dr. Phil that I think.
Sure, go for it.
We're going to hear more, and the tech's going to work out.
It is.
But the one thing I want to point out is, and Dr. Phil said it, how quickly the body responds when you start to get the stuff out of the way. And he's dealt with thousands of people, thousands. So that hits me, because if you feel hopeless, you feel like there's no way, you feel like once you systematically remove the things that don't belong, and you may have to do that may take some patience to figure out where a toxin is coming from or what you're doing. But once you do it, the body responds very quickly. And I think that's a great message to extract from Dr. Phil before we move on.
It definitely is. Just in a simile there, if you want to learn a new language or learn any platform of study, you can't just buy the books, read them through and say, okay, now I'm a doctor or now I'm a teacher or whatever it is. It's time and study and repetition and learning and practice and consistently doing that until eventually you get your credentials and become whoever you are. And that's the message here with the body, right? Like you said, Austin, get out of the body's way, get out of its way, let it find its natural way of healing, and it will restore itself. And Dr. Phil has an amazing pathway there to do that, which is awesome.
Thank you, Mandy. So I'm going to jump in because Amy just came on. And Amy is celebrating her father's birthday today. So I want to honor her quickly because I don't know how much time she has. Amy, just show me a thumb up if you're okay. Good. Amy, I'm so glad you made it.
Yeah.
Yay! Woo!
Happy birthday to you, Austin.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you. And it's your father's birthday. Who knew?
Yeah, he's 80 today. So it's a big celebration.
So glad you made it.
Yeah, it's super fun and got the house ready, decorated, and I actually have like 20 minutes. So
you do? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. So I'll turn it over to Mandy. Right now, I want to get the audience to know the authors, you. We're asking them to buy the book. It's $2.99 to get the digital copy. We've dropped the link in there. So we're really on our first round still. So Mandy, I'll turn it back over to you. Let's learn about Amy. Let's learn her nickname, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Okay, so Amy, happy birthday to your father. Welcome here again today. That's awesome. We're trying to get to know the authors. So can you give us a little bit of background on who you are, what you do, how you came to find Austin, and help us to appreciate your story just a little bit right here?
Okay, so I'm Amy here in the Minneapolis area, and met Austin, let me think, through Laura Langmeyer's. I think she has a marketplace, and so he had mentioned, and I think you were looking for authors, and what he said in his ask, I was like, just like we're supposed to ask, right? Ask.
Yep.
When you put the ask out there, and I'm like, yeah, I have a health turnaround story. I can definitely contribute to this. So right away we connected and jumped on a call with him and just have connected ever since. So I actually got to meet him in person, not just a Zoom friend either. So
yes.
Oh, look at you.
I got to share this. We're going to deviate. So I met Amy in Las Vegas, and I'm going to bring Dr. Kevin on here real quick if he's ready. Let me see. Yeah, let me put him on here. So Dr. Kevin was going to Las Vegas too. So I had a conversation. He says, I'm going to Vegas. And so I said, oh my gosh, but for a different event. So it was a completely different event. And not only was he there for a different event, he was in the same hotel. So literally on one of the breaks, I was able to jump out. I met Amy, and then I went over and met Dr. Kevin. It was just talk about,
synchronicity.
So wanted to share that. Amy, I'm so glad we met. Back to you. I want people to learn.
Yeah. So I like to sum up, you asked me who I am. So I will sum it up pretty succinctly that I've dealt with abandonment, anger, anxiety, alcohol, got really severely sick. So allergies and autoimmune disease. But then one of the hardest things that's taken me to get over that I could say I work on continually is wanting approval of all people. And that was really, when I think back to my life, that's what drove me and kept me small and kept me quiet. And I was so worried about what everyone else thought. And when I learned, it's kind of funny, but probably 6 years ago, a therapist gave me a book on codependency. And I looked at her and she had written it. And I looked at her and I'm like, that's not me. So I literally, it's one of those books I shoved in a bookcase and never looked at it until all of a sudden I realized 4 years ago, oh, that's what codependency is. And now I see why she gave me that book.
Yeah. Yeah. Codependency. So what was the turning point? What was the turning point? What was your pain point, your pain threshold? What made you suddenly decide, other than accepting Austin's offer to be in the book, what was the turning point where you decided, I'm done with this? How did that come about?
That would have been 4 years ago. So
Yeah.
I was always a very, very active person. Sports has always been a part of my life. And I found myself on the couch for 6 weeks straight. I literally could not drive my car. I barely could walk. And my whole body, I explain it like I was on a hamster wheel and I was running my entire life, and then it caught up to me and I like fell off the wheel exhausted, and my body was screaming. I was sick. I was in pain and could not move. And so that was my wake up, because I looked at him like, what is my life going to end up looking like? Like, I like being an active person. I knew about natural health. I knew about all these things because my son had been really sick when he was younger. So I knew, but what I didn't know was how to accept how I was feeling emotionally. I was so like working on my faith and connected to God, and then taking care of myself physically, eating the right foods and having supplements and exercising, but I didn't know how to take care of myself emotionally. And so that's really what my chapter is about. Like, you have to completely, fully feel in order to heal.
I love that.
And so there was a 12-step Christ-centered recovery program that I was a part of, that the first step is about denial. And it said, you cannot heal a wound by saying it's not there.
That's right.
And I had realized I lived my whole life like, hey, I'm fine. I'm doing great. I got God. I got peace. I was like trying to make myself feel a certain way, but not really acknowledging how I truly felt.
And I just want to highlight that you have to feel in order to heal. I think that is one of the most powerful things I've heard during this process with you, because I always talk about that, Amy, and you just, for you having to have experienced that and lived that, you have to feel in order to heal. And a lot of us don't want to feel, which enter in whatever drug, narcotic, whatever you want to call, comes into the equation. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so key. It's like getting stuck on the side of a mountain, right? And you're trying to brave the cold. So you take alcohol, and alcohol actually causes the blood vessels to dilate even more, and you lose even more heat. So until you actually acknowledge that you have a problem, and this is where a lot of people don't, they don't want to get out of that comfort zone. Sometimes it's the comfort zone, right? But until you acknowledge that you've got a problem, and what it's doing to your body, you're not going to change it. It's like an alcoholic as well, right? They can go to all the counseling and everything they want, but until they're ready and say, okay, yeah, I'm done, nothing's going to change. So this is a very, very powerful example of how to change that. So can you give us a nickname?
Funny
nickname.
For me?
Yes.
One
nickname.
One that I've had, or just make one up?
Either. Go for it. Just give us a funny nickname.
Well, my friends growing up called me Squirt.
Squirt.
I'm not very tall, so I'm short. So every 4th of July, I'd go to my friend's cabin, and I'd bring, like, my parents always told me, you're not a guest at somebody's place unless you bring something. So bring something, and I would bring a case of pop. So I always brought Squirt Pop, and that's how my name got started.
That's a good one, Amy. So good. So let's do this. I want to see if I can bring Simon on, and because he's trying to get in from South Africa. The tech here. So Simon, are you able to show me a thumbs up? Let's see if it's working and complying. But we have a backup plan. See, we have a backup plan. Simon, let's try it. Simon. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to have to use the backup plan.
Okay, well, can you hear me? Let's see if we can just say, can you just say hello to everyone? We got a delay, so.
The internet's not working. Hello. Hi, everybody.
The South Africa, so it's taking a little bit longer to get here.
I have to use the backup plan.
Okay, so Simon is all the way from South Africa. He's got an incredible story growing up during the apartheid, having his nanny. They came to his house, abducted his nanny right in front of him. And anyway, we're going to get into the story because I have a 10-minute interview we're going to share. We'll take a break here soon where we're going to share that. But what I want to do, Mandy, is because of Amy's limited time.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Amy just to have her talk about maybe a little deeper to the pain point, turning point, and maybe the message she wants to get out there, today on this platform, as well as the chapter in the book. And if there's anybody, we want you to buy the book. I want you to hear Amy's story. It's in the book. But let's just hear a little bit more from Amy before she has to get back to her father's birthday party, which is celebrating today.
And well, I can share too what made me so sick. Codependency. I wasn't okay unless everybody else was okay. That's really what codependency is. And so I spent my life trying to make sure everybody else was happy. And that when I say approval of all people, that's what wore me out, because having a husband, a business, and 2 kids, it was exhausting because I was trying to fix everybody else. And so that's the message I want people to know. You can only take care of you. Obviously, when the kids are little and they, you have to, do those, feed them and all those things. But when they're older, you're no longer doing the day-to-day taking care. But I was so immersed in trying to fix and make sure everyone else was okay that I didn't know how to make myself a priority. They tell you put the oxygen mask on first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a lot easier to say that than to actually live that out. And as a mom, I got into this really bad habit. My son had been really, really sick. He was on like 8 meds a day when he was 4 years old. And so I saw, how like I was getting results helping him. But in that whole time, all I did was just take care of him. I was like, take care of my family. And I didn't make, sure, I would say I'd have girls' night. I'd go out. I'd do different things. So I thought I was taking care of myself. But in reality, as my friend says, learning to live a life that you don't need to take a vacation from. And that was like life-changing. And it was really only because my body, I'm thankful for the pain that I went through, because now I live a life that I wake up every day. I'm excited to live each day. Before it was, like I said, it was always trying to take care of everybody else but me. So.
And that's another good point, that a lot of people don't live a life that they don't need a vacation from, because they're so steeped in, as you say in your story here, of trying to fix everybody else to the negligence of themselves. And unfortunately, as mothers, we've had this conversation. I did the same thing. We put our children first, and then our husbands, business, whatever it is. And then burnout suddenly hits and we wonder what on earth's going on. And that really was your turning point there, wasn't it? When you crashed and you were on the couch there, you couldn't work, you couldn't barely get up, barely function as a human being. And you recognized that something had to get done. So your message there, I want you to reiterate your message, please.
So that you matter, that you are worth it, that you are truly your life matters, and who you are. You have greatness inside of you. Living a life of discovering the amazing person that you already are, that you're a masterpiece made by God. And it's fun. I have an 18-year-old daughter, and I'm watching her just blossom. And I'm like, it's a life of discovery. Go have fun. Discover who you are. Not live your life doing what everyone else thinks you should be doing. That's exhausting. But discover the great person that you already are, because you matter and your dreams matter, and take them seriously and go after them.
I've got goosebumps. I really have.
Amy, you really are.
Yeah, incredible inspiration. Oh, big
Take a
hugs.
breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Even if you're
Take a breath. Grab some water.
Audience, and you're listening, I need you to take a deep breath right now. Take a deep breath. Breathe it out. Okay.
Breathe it out.
We're about halfway through this summit. We've dealt with some tech already. We've already got some great shares. We got birthdays. I did a video the other day. I'll just share this. This is funny. So I just discovered there's a beaver near my nature trail here. So Amy, this was funny. I titled it, what did I title? Beavers, Birthdays, Book Launches, and Breakthroughs. And I mentioned the fact that it was your dad's birthday too, and there's this beaver chipping away at the tree. So I'm going back there every day to see like how far this beaver's gotten through the tree. So it's pretty funny. But so Amy,
just be on the other side of the tree when it finally falls.
Yes, well, exactly. And you got to watch. Beavers can be a little temperamental, so you got to watch them too. But what I want to do right now, because we're going to just give everybody a little like idea what we're going to do to keep us on track here. I'm going to bring Daphne on because Daphne has been working tirelessly behind the scenes. And we joke, it's like herding cats, right? Everybody, because we're all going in 1,000 different directions. And, you know, this project can be a lot to get these stories, to make sure they get out the right way. So I'm going to have Daphne come on and just speak a little bit to the, you know, because round 2, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the stories. So I want to have Daphne help set that up, what she kind of did to get this behind the scenes. And then I'm also going to share, after that, I'm going to share a 10-minute video from Simon, who's from South Africa. We can all kind of take a break, if you will, get some water, and then we'll come back on and we'll go deeper into the stories. And we want to impart the lessons today. What are the lessons that you want to give? So, Amy, based on your time limit, is there any lesson you want to share before I bring Daphne on?
Basically what I said, that make yourself a priority. Create a life that you don't need to take a vacation from, which means you're taking care of you. Because as you take care of you, others around you notice and they also rise up, and that you inspire other people as you take care of you. So, and as I said, you matter. You're worth it. Your dreams matter. So discover the great person that you already are inside and let that blossom and come out.
So that was worth hearing twice. Buy the book. It's $2.99. The link is in the bio. We're also going to be sharing a QR code for everybody who's listening on Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, wherever. We're going to put that QR code up again here shortly. Stay tuned for that. But let me get a thumbs up from Daphne and Amy. Thank you so much. Tell your dad, I don't know him, but tell him I said happy birthday. I like him already. Have
Love
a great
and hugs,
day.
Amy. Good to see you. Happy birthday to your dad.
Let's see. Daphne, welcome.
Hello.
Daphne.
So Daphne, first question is, did you get any sleep? Because we want to know, we want to make sure you got your sleep.
Definitely. Yes. The project was not uncontrollable. Everything went as projects do. There's last minute stuff and, you know, occasional misunderstandings or something here and there, and you just work it out like you do in all projects. So it was great. And the one thing I always want to stress is thank you all for entrusting me with your stories. Every one of them required a level of vulnerability and a level of a little bit of heroicism to be able to dive deep into the trauma and the things you've endured, to bring these life lessons out for other people to benefit from. And that's exactly what this book is. It's a compilation of people who have been through it, whatever it is in their lives, came out the other end, and they want to give others a little bit of a roadmap, a little bit of a blueprint on how to avoid some of the pitfalls they had to struggle to get through. Well, here's a little tip to maybe get around it if you find yourself in this spot. Or, you know, here's a little tip or trick to help you endure the struggle, because the struggle is going to happen. So here's a good way to find your way through it when it seems impossible. And it's a compilation of all of those stories and all of those little tricks and tips. So it's incredibly valuable. And I thank you all for contributing to this masterful document that contains all of this information.
Yes. And Daphne, you were saying something about your team, right? What you want to share, what you shared there?
Yeah, so I'm blessed to have a small, amazing team of people that help with proofreading and editing and going through everyone's stories to make sure that what we publish is as polished as we want it to be. We still want to maintain everyone's voice and character. And I've worked one-on-one with a couple of people of smoothing out some of that to bring maybe more of that voice and character back. And also to, you know, manage last minute corrections and revisions and things that just happen when you're dealing with a joint project. So everything has really gone amazingly well. Things can always be tightened up and corrected and so forth. So I'm so happy that you all have been a part of this project.
Yeah, and your team was they liked the stories, is what you shared
Oh,
with
they
me.
very much so. So my team on this project consisted of two other women, Justina Walford and Sydney Smith, who both took different parts of this, but dove into your stories, and everybody was moved and learned something that they could take away and maybe apply in their own life, which I think is always the goal, right? If someone is touched by your story and they're able to find their own aha moment or see themselves in a little bit of that story and can take some of it away to make their lives a little better.
Beautiful. So I got to share this. This is funny. So we were going through the nicknames. So it looks like Ivy took the liberty of nicknaming you. Daphne, roll with the punches too. So.
My nickname, I think most often is "Shut Up, Daphne." And what that means is I'm not saying a thing. It is the expression on the face, and people already know what I'm thinking. And so their response is "Shut up, Daphne." And there it is.
Funny.
Just
Thank
funny.
you, Daphne. Thank you so much. So, Mandy, what we're going to do, I want to just check in with the authors because I know sometimes listening is hard work, and I know they're thinking and feeling things. So what I want to do is before we take a break to the video, I just want to check in. You don't need to go into too detail. Just, did anything come up for you? Just a quick check-in, a lesson. Did you like a nickname? I don't know. Let's just do a quick check-in. Did something move you? And I will see if Greg can come back on here to check in with us as well for that. And then I'm going to put the Simon video up. We'll take a break and then we'll come back on. And Daphne, I would ask you to maybe you come back on toward the end and join us to close out this summit in grand style. So bring Greg on and just a quick check-in. So Mandy, let's just go around and just ask everyone for a quick check-in. How they're feeling.
Okay. So let's start with Jim Grant. How you doing? Have you felt anything affect you? Where are you at, bro?
Oh yeah, this has been fun. I mean, I'm going to vote for what I think is the most famous nickname is Princess. There, Mr. Joe. I mean, he just the story behind that. He didn't want his sisters touching his GI dolls, and of course, that comment that Amy made. My goodness gracious, live a life that you don't have to take a vacation from. Oh, that says it all to me right there.
It does, doesn't it? It's yeah. Thanks for your share there, Jim. Joe, keep with the J's. Joe, anything touched you in specifically?
Yeah, I didn't want my sisters to
Can't
touch
hear
my
you.
GI Joes.
Yeah,
That's where Princess came from. Because I'm a weightlifter, I train. So anyway,
let's get that out there right now. Yes,
that's right. What's really awesome is I'm sitting here and listening to all this brilliance, all these incredible people that I just want to connect and help people. There's so many people that need change and help and happiness. And it's like, wow, we have a collaboration of people that understand the body is alive and breathing. It's tissue and cells, and we can make it feel as great as we think we can. And I just want to we got to get this out.
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting it out right now. So by the way, the book is for sale right now. You can buy the book. So we ask you to share it. It's a $2.99 investment to get the digital copy. And I've gone through the stories. They're just, use the word just, but they are so powerful. And I don't even care if you don't even relate to the actual story. You are going to walk away inspired from every one of them. No question in my mind.
I also like that it's a wide gamut of people's stories from people with doctorates to people driving trucks to everyday people, people doing wellness, etc. These stories cover every aspect of what a human being could possibly be going through. So it doesn't matter if you're, the king of the country, or you're just the regular school teacher in the local school. If you're going through something that is so impactful on your life right now, be it spiritually, nutritionally, or physically, the story and the inspiration behind each of these turnaround co-authors is nuggets of gold. They are diamonds. They are diamonds that can help people in so many ways. And I love every one of them. Let's move on to Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, where are you at, my friend? Anything stirred you specifically in everything you've heard today?
Yes. I think of all the different stories that I've heard, one particular theme is congruent, and that is just don't quit, and be willing to be teachable. I mean, everybody on this call has had to be willing to be teachable. And I think that is a quality that is often not present in everyone's life. It's tragic when, even if we live to be 200 years of age, we don't want to stop being teachable. And so I know I enjoy teaching, but one thing a teacher doesn't enjoy is teaching to a room full of cabbage heads. The reason I say that, it's kind of funny. Years ago, when I was in Bible school, one of my professors, he said, when I was a little boy, I used to go out into the garden and I would preach to the cabbage heads. And he said, sometimes I still think I'm preaching to cabbage heads. But we want to make sure that we're not a cabbage head, that we are listening and we're measuring and we're thinking, maybe there is an answer I haven't considered. I didn't personally do the funerals, but this last year, metaphorically speaking here, I buried five friends of mine, meaning we lost their lives, and some of them had known me for over 30 years. And I've been in wellness more than 30 years, and I tried to get them to understand the principles of wellness, and they just would not apply it to their lives. And so, because of this great law of deposit and withdrawal that I teach, we're all subject to this law. No one is exempt from this law, no matter who you are, how much money you make, or what position you hold. You can't live your life in bankruptcy. Eventually, you will pay the price. And they died early because of their uncooperative way of listening and applying information. The doctor I work with at the clinic that runs our clinic, Dr. Nick Wilson, he says that it's not information that makes us well, it's the application of this information. So we have to be a doer of it. But I think everybody on this call has been able to be teachable, and I think they can all agree with that today.
That is so beautiful. And actually, you talking about the Christian side of it just reminded me that it was Jesus that said that the kingdom of God belonged to those who became like children. And
Yes.
There's the key right there. Children are so innocent and teachable and exploring and wanting and desiring to learn and grow and explore the world and find out what it's all about. And if we can be like that in ourselves as far as our health and our life goes, then we stand a much better chance of being open to the wisdom coming through from above. And in that way, we can apply it. That's beautiful. Go on, Austin.
And I think Gregory's story speaks to this, because he said it.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't care where it came from. I wanted to be healed. And he got over, the silos, and then till he sought out till he found. So yeah, that's a great point, Dr. Phil.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That actually leads us into Greg. Are you still with us, Greg? Yes, he is. Woohoo. What are you feeling right now?
The biggest theme that I see with all the authors is that we need to find the breakthrough to get the right information to the human being from the beginning. I mean, from conception. And hopefully this book could help inspire some people to go on that path to the wellness, to live past 101 without disease and stuff. Like, I see people go to work and, put a lot of time and sweat into building their empire in order to just basically watch it go down the drain because they're not taking the time or they don't have the information that they need to basically get to the goal and to enjoy the things that they want. Um, but one of the biggest things that I see is that instead of just keep on wishing for things, we got to actually do things. And without us actually showing and telling our stories, more and more people wouldn't hear it. And, or in other words, start to change the narrative.
That's right. Completely change the narrative. And I think based on your story as well, a lot of people in society become overwhelmed, with learning, or doctors and the different routes. Well, we'll try this, we'll try that, but not actually getting to the cause. And a lot of people give up too easily because they become overwhelmed. So I think your story is a very powerful message here of not being overwhelmed, because you went on for 30 years trudging through all of the stuff that was being offered to you and getting nowhere. And again, like everyone else here, not giving up, not quitting. So in these stories, in this book, is an opportunity for people to look at life's experiences that might even be affecting themselves. And it's there succinctly in these chapters individually that they can gain the knowledge and not be overwhelmed, and find that they've got a new pathway or a new avenue that they can consider. They've got options, as Austin always likes to say. We create options. So I really honor you for that. Definitely. Austin, can't hear you.
I muted myself. Some people are happy that I muted myself. Now, moving on. I just want to say, let's keep going, because I definitely want to get to Simon's video, and then when we come back, you're going to get the lessons. You're going to hear a little bit deeper about the story and the lessons that you can take away with you today. So we have about what do we have? About 37 minutes. So let's move.
Yes.
Daphne and Jim, I'm going to share Simon's video. The authors will take a break during that video. It's about 10 minutes long. Then we'll come back and we'll close this thing out in grand style today. So Daphne,
Okay.
you want to start us off?
Can't hear you, Daphne.
You're on mute. And drink some water, by the way.
What's the question?
Just just a quick check-in with you. Like, what are you feeling, thinking?
So I love that everyone is here. I love the energy that the authors are bringing to this project, and I can't wait to see what we do. You will find that this project doesn't just end upon a book launch. You will find that there are going to be more moments that Austin and I bring to you to learn what to do next now that your story is published. So how to leverage being published in a book like this, and what that can mean for your momentum with publicity, with your own goals and so forth. So this is just the beginning. Unlike a lot of books where, okay, I'm published, now what? And you have to kind of figure it out. We will guide you through very specific things that you can do to leverage this being a published book, and also how to take your individual stories to grow and make sure more people are touched by it. So I'm looking forward to all of this with all of you.
Beautiful. So good. So what we're going to do, authors, you got about 10 minutes. Take a break, get some water, breathe. I'm going to share a video from Simon all the way from South Africa. We did a video yesterday because we had a feeling that, the tech may give us some challenges. So we're going to do that now. So yeah, just set your timer, come back in about maybe about 8 minutes, somewhere around there, and we'll close the show out. So we're going to move Joe out, Jim Grant, Daphne. Mandy, we're doing great so far. How are you feeling?
I'm doing awesome. Awesome. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
I'm loving this, and the energy is.
It's beautiful. I know it's going to have a major impact. So we just want to
Yeah.
ask you to buy the book. And you're going to hear from Simon right now from South Africa. Let me pull that up. Oops, not that one. Here we go. And thank you so much for being here today. And by the way, if you've purchased the book, type in that you purchased. I want to honor you that you've purchased the book. All right, let's get a sound check. Make sure we're good. Simon, welcome. I'm glad to get this time with you and to let our audience learn a little bit about you as one of the co-authors in this incredible book, which we are releasing, Your Health Turnaround Story. I want to ask you, number one, let's learn a little bit about you. We want our audience to learn. So why don't you share, your location, a little bit about yourself. Let's start out there.
Hi, Austin. Thanks very much for being here and letting me be on the program. So I'm living in South Africa, in Cape Town, the tip of Africa. And this is where I grew up and spent the first, 22 years of my life before I moved to the UK. But I've been living back here for the last 10 years. So I'm back in sunny South Africa.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what is it that you do there in South Africa today?
Okay, so currently I'm a transformational and life coach. So helping people who have been through some kind of trauma in their life or who are going through major change or transformation to help them through that period of their life to become, a much better human being, who might have gone through periods of addiction or areas of life that have been very tough. So trying to get them back on their feet, back into a more operational and happier life, hopefully.
Yes, and you have a good academic background too. You want to share a little bit about your academic background?
Yeah, so I did study 3 degrees at universities. I've got a master's degree in occupational organizational from psychology from Manchester University in the United Kingdom. And I worked for many years as a human resource consultant around psychometric assessments, helping organizations and developing people in organizations and selecting them into roles in the organization and developing them into those roles. And that is my background. So before I then did a diploma in coaching and counseling at the South African College of Applied Psychology here in Cape Town.
You've immersed yourself in the educational part of this process too, as you're sharing. And it sounds like you have not only a strong background organizationally, dealing with organization dynamics, but also dealing with the individual. And that speaks to your coaching and what you're doing today. Let's talk about the experience side, because I think this is what makes you unique today, is that you have a story. And just getting to know you through this process, I'd love for you to just share a little bit about your story, which is going to be in the book, and why you're passionate about what you do.
Okay, yeah, well, from an early age, I was a very sensitive child, and having grown up in the apartheid era in South Africa, where obviously that was as
That
apartheid, during so part of my story was that my African nanny was arrested in front of me when I was 4 years old. And obviously that was one of the traumas that I then experienced as a young child, not really realizing the impact that had on me, growing up with fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, things like that. So that's just really in the chapter that I've written for the book, a bit of a teaser around that. And also, if you read the chapter, I'll tell you a bit about my background. There was a 22-year age difference between my mother and my father. So that was also, expanding generations who'd been through wars, who'd been through traumas themselves. So that's also part of the story, that I come from quite a unique family in that respect.
But I also want to hit on the fact that, to speak to directly to somebody who you would resonate with, you had an eating disorder that caused you to put on a lot of weight, right?
Yeah, so when I was young, I think because of the insecurity and fear of rejection and abandonment, I started comfort eating at a young age. So I became very, very plump. And as a teenager, that affected my self-esteem and my morale a lot. And I only lost that weight when I went to university when I was about 19 or 20 years old, and started taking my health seriously by going running and jogging, also regulating my eating now that I was living in a university residence. So getting into more of a routine in my life as well.
So I guess it's fair to say that your health turnaround came from the fact that you were, because of the emotional trauma, it led to a food addiction, amongst other things. And this was your turnaround, like you became unhealthy. And then you started to immerse, you had that turnaround, which is going to be in the book, in the chapter.
That's
so
right,
we can read the rest of the story. So I just want to make sure that, our audience understands a little bit about your dark moment where you went through. And I know it's a little bit deeper than what we're talking about here, but
yes,
it definitely speaks to your story.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think people will hopefully be able to resonate with that. I think it's a huge issue in our society today, where we are addicted to sugar, addicted to foods, and we don't realize it because they're just part of our lifestyle, part of growing up. And healthy eating, I think, is something which is becoming more of an issue, and people are becoming more aware of it. And hopefully that change is this chapter is part of helping people who are suffering or are, experiencing things. Luckily, I don't have that, but diabetes and things like that. So,
yes.
But that could certainly be where I could have ended up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So great point. Your experience, just quickly, your experience in this chapter, has this opened up anything for you in terms of as your personal journey continues?
Yeah, I think it's good to be able to reflect back on how I can hopefully help other people through my story, and that people can resonate with it, and that by also reading all the stories in the book, that one would be able to resonate with people who've been through trauma from a young age and maybe not even being conscious of it. So this sort of brings it to the surface and allows one to start dealing with it through a process, sort of like the peeling of the onion analogy of being able to continuously develop myself through this process.
Yeah, that's what I was really wanting to speak to, is obviously the collective, but personally, like your growth. Did you grow through extracting your story in this way?
Yes, I think I've been able to find a deeper sense of peace around myself. Beautiful. And through, coming out of always reflecting back on where I've come from is very helpful to help develop and continue to develop my self-esteem. And I think this is a real process that has helped that to become more confident in myself and in my story.
So good. So thanks for sharing that, Simon. Yeah. In closing, why should somebody read your chapter?
Austin, well, I'd like to think people would read the chapter to gain some insights into eating disorders, into how trauma causes addiction as well. I also mentioned codependency in the chapter as well, which has been a big issue for me. which is being addicted to people and pleasing people. So that's another aspect of the story. So I'd really hope that they would find value in reading the story. It's not too long, so it should hopefully be impactful. And if they need to reach out, I'm very willing to have a conversation with anybody who would like to resonate with my story and would like to connect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how can they connect with you?
Okay, so in the book, there is my details. I've got a website, which is www.illuminate.com, ELOOMANATE.com. And all my details are on there, including my email and my WhatsApp and telephone.
Simon, thanks for giving me this time today. I know your story is going to have a huge positive impact on anyone who reads it. And I'm so glad you were a part of this project.
Okay, thanks very much, Austin. And thanks very much for allowing me to be part of the project. I appreciate it.
Very well, my
Great
friend.
project. Okay.
I want to pop on for a minute and just say thank you, Simon, for doing that. We recorded that because he's in South Africa in Cape Town, and we had some trouble with the tech. So we wanted to make sure that was prepared. I'm going to pull myself out of the screen again, and I want to speak to the audience that's on the Apple TV, Amazon, Roku. You might be watching it on your TV through Roku. If you grab your phone and you put up the QR code, it'll actually pull up the link to the book. So even if no matter where you are in the world, if you're streaming on one of those platforms, Apple, like I said, Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, or Fire TV, I'm going to put the QR code up. You can use your camera on your phone, and it will automatically, most phones will automatically determine the website. So let me just share that a little bit. And then we're going to come back and we're going to close this thing out on my birthday, February 20th. What a great way to share. And also, I'm going to give you a little teaser here. What are the top 2 things that impact your health? What are the top 2 things that impact your health according to a Brigham Young University study? Stay tuned for that. All right, here we go. All right. We're ready to close this out. Let me know if you've purchased the book. I want to call you out and say hello that you've purchased the book. We know this book needs to get to the right hands. Your health turnaround story, inspiring stories. I'm going to ask Mandy to join me back on as we close this out. Mandy, I'll let you get settled. Are you ready to join? And I'm excited to get back to the story. What we're going to do here as Mandy gets settled, we're going to talk about the turning point. And I like the question I asked Simon, why should people read your chapter? The turning point, why should people read your chapter? That's to the authors. And since we have about 22 minutes, we're going to have to do a little shorter form, but let's bring Mandy on. All right, Mandy, welcome back. Did you get your water, get stretched? Oh, you're on mute. Okay, you're back. You're good. I just took care of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got anyway, I'm back. Yes, I did get refreshed. That's been awesome. So we're talking about the turning point and why they should read the story. Is that the chapter?
Why should the listener read their chapter? Why should the
author's chapter?
Yeah, because I want to get the rest of the story here, and as we close out. So we have about 21 minutes. So I'm going to check in and bring the authors back on. So it looks like Jim Grant is ready. Jim's always ready. The Sarge is ready, or Tix, if you want to call him Tix.
Sergeant Tix.
Ready. Greg, are you ready? Greg is ready. He's shaking his head. Joe will be joining us here soon. And Daphne, you're free to join us on this if you'd like. Just give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So Daphne's going to join us for this last segment as we close things out. And I want to give a shout out to Dr. George Grant. Without him, this project would not have happened. And unfortunately, I'm having some challenges with the tech. I've checked here multiple times. I don't know what's going on, but I can assure you, we are going to do a follow-up from this, and I will bring Dr. Grant back on because I know he has a lot to share and a lot to say, and I'm really, gosh, the technology's not working out. That's all I can say. So hopefully I'm going to keep an eye on him here. If he pops in, I'm going to get him on right away. But what can you say about Dr. Grant? 25,000 students, 35 plus years of research study, 3 doctorate degrees, lost his mother when he was young. It's all in the chapter. He has the 26 tips to wellness in the chapter. He wrote the forward in the book, and he's touching lives every day. He is just a passionate person who wants to help other people get well. And Greg is on here because of Dr. Grant, because Greg found Dr. Grant. So we're going to hear about that. So I just wanted to put that out there because he's like the main attraction here, and we can't seem to get him in the platform. So I'm looking for him. So Mandy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's move through. Let's close this out in Grant style.
I'd also just like to say on behalf of Dr. Grant that he always brings so much humor to his approach to life, which is a great healer in of itself. And he uses the PMS, physical, mental, and spiritual, not hormonal.
See? We're all impacted by it.
So if, again, and that theme has surrounded all these stories, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual side. So let's get into this final segment here. The turning point for each co-author here, and the reason why someone, the listener, anybody out there should read your individual chapter. Let's start with Gregory.
Public service announcement. My biggest thing that made me turn around was I met Dr. Grant, and everything that he instilled into me basically, really and truthfully, in 45 minutes took away my pain. And ever since then, I've been instilling everything he's taught me to live the best life that I can be. And I really want to people to read my chapter to see exactly what my journey was. It might not be the same journey as them, but they might take something out of it that might help them. But what's come out of it for me was I'm a natural health coach now, trying to help everybody achieve the best life that they can be through QRA, biofield testing. I'm right now doing a live blood cell analysis and iridology. In the next year and a half, I'm going to have my PhD. So we're working with the World Organization of Natural Medicine. I got a lot of people in my team. And just put it this way, I won't rest until I make sure that we get to the end goal of 101 and beyond.
Yes, and you are on fire. You're going deep because you've shared some emails with me, and you're just going deep. You're just like a sponge. And because of Dr. Grant, now you're going to be getting your doctorate. So that's just kudos to you, brother. Kudos to you.
Oh yeah, like everything is changing. Like even my supplements, I only use 100% natural supplements now, and I just want to do my best to keep on spreading the word, and hopefully whenever they're ready, that I'll be here to give them the knowledge. Knowing is half the battle.
So Dr. Grant is on here, and you're here because of him. He's actually on here. So he's watching on YouTube. Again, Dr. Grant, we miss you. We love you. I cannot believe this is not working out, but we're going to do a follow-up. See, everything happens for a reason. So this is a guaranteed follow-up because we are going to do one because we know that this book needs to get into more hands. Gregory, thank you so much again for being a part of this. Mandy, are we missing everything? Do we have everything with Gregory? You got to get your unmuted here. There we go. So Mandy, are you with us? Okay.
I'm here. I can't hear you, but I'm here.
Okay. So we're gonna move on. Gregory, again, let's share how people can connect with you.
Yeah, you can reach me at 416-277-4814, or you can reach out to my Flow page. It's at www.flow.page/QBL. and there's a link there to my website and a few videos that everybody should watch. But yeah, call, text, whatever. I'm happy. I'm
What's
savvy with the text.
QBL? What's QBL mean? I want you to share that.
Yeah, so QBL is my company. It's called Quantum Balanced with a D Limited.
Got it. Perfect. Let's keep moving.
Okay, so Jim Grant, back to Jim. Can you unmute yourself, Jim?
Yeah. You got to put a quarter in this thing.
Okay, so I see you put the quarter in. Well done, Sarge. Tell us about your turning point, my friend, and why anybody listening today or anybody out there should consider reading your chapter. What is it about your chapter?
Okay. First of all, I tell people the reason why I landed in this book is under one word, and that's ignorance. Because for decades, I lived a life that my blood pressure is good, my cholesterol levels are good, my heart's got to be good. And that's what the medical community will tell you. Your doctors will look at your cholesterol levels like 76, the bad cholesterol, your blood pressure 120 something over 60, 68 or something. I mean, you're in great health. That's exactly what I was told when I was 71 years of age 2 years ago. And then on Halloween night, I had a heart attack. Time I get to the ER, my blood pressure is 190 over 111. And even my blood cholesterol was only 96. So that sent me on a journey. And this is why my story's in there. A lot of people do not realize that about 75% of the patients who arrive in an ER with a heart problem do not have any blood pressure or cholesterol levels problems prior to that. That's a wake-up call. And for a long time, I thought that was my safety net. Problem with my safety net was this. On Halloween night, this past year, when I had my heart attack, I found out the hard way my safety net had a hole in it. I don't want you to have a hole in your safety net, because you can go down a path with Dr. George Grant and the information he has shared with me where you don't have to rely on a safety net and fly in the blind. Thank you.
Don't fly blind. That is such a beautiful phrase. And you're right, Dr. Grant has incredible ability to see what the medicinal people cannot see. So good for you. Thank you for that, Jim. Carrying on, Austin.
Yes, we got about 12 minutes. So
Okay, Joe, can we go to you, Joe? Unmute. Perfect.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
Thanks for everyone's patience being here today as well, by the way. What's your turning point, Joe? What was your turning point, and why should the listener, anybody out there, want to read your specific chapter? What is it about it?
Well, like I was saying, my whole platform is my environment creates my habits and my thoughts and my actions. And mine came to a head at 14, where I lost consciousness because of barbiturates and alcohol, a lethal combination that took my consciousness from me. And in those moments, I had a call out to God, who I did not know, but I had a reality check with death, and that scared life into me. And what I know moving forward from that day is, there's a quote that you can no longer wait until life is unhard to find happiness. And I chose that if this God loves me and he's giving me another choice and he's giving me an option, then obviously there's more purpose. And what I decided was to go all in and build my body, build my mind, build my relationships. And I'm still doing that 40 years later. And it's about building strength. So anybody that's listening here today, listen, you got to move with purpose. You got to eat with intention. You got to love and serve, and you got to do that every single day. You can't allow your circumstances to put you on the sideline of life. You got to take control. You got to be a participant in this life, even when it's hard. And there's a discipline to that, not motivation. That's slippery. When my clients tell me, hey, I need the motivation. No, I don't care about your motivation, because a lot of time motives are wrong. It's about the discipline to execute in this life. And that's hard. Discipline drives everything that all of these authors say. And just like Greg, I want to give people the knowledge. What I decided is I'm going to give them the desire to execute the knowledge. I want to see what you do with it. Don't tell me what you know, tell me what you do.
That's great. That is so important, because again, in line with Greg, we can have all the knowledge in the world, but if we don't take the wisdom and apply the knowledge, then it's futile and it's fallen on deaf ears. So that's beautiful.
I just want to grab that quote real quick. What was that quote you said again, Joe?
You can't unhurt. You can't unhurt. Carry on, Joe. I've just forgotten the other half.
You can't wait for life to get unhard before you
Unhard.
find happiness.
That's
Before you find happiness.
got to find happiness today. And I'm going to share
Yeah.
the two. Remind me, Mandy, I want to share the two leading indicators for your health.
Okay.
What are the
Okay.
two main factors for good health? I'm going to share this according to a Brigham Young University study. So great share, Joe, as always.
Okay. Are any of the other co-authors, or have they all gone?
No,
Is
no.
Dr.
So
Harris still here?
No, he's out, but Daphne's here.
Daphne.
And I like, what's interesting, we could put Daphne on the spot here. She likes that. But I just want to see, because, it's interesting when you're working on the project, but I want to see what Daphne took away from it. What did you get from it, Daphne?
Everybody goes through really incredibly challenging times. It's not always trauma, because trauma has a very specific clinical definition. And so it doesn't always fit in that box, but everybody goes through it. Something they're not sure they're going to pull out of, whether it was self-imposed or whether it was life crashing in on you or your body just malfunctioning. Whatever it is, we've all been through something so hard that we weren't sure we were going to pull through. And in those moments, all of these stories are palpably relatable. And we can see ourselves in others. And then we get to see how they pulled through. When we take the moment for ourselves to tell our story, and then to give the gift of the solutions that we found, it's incredible. So just the act of telling the story for an author is a little cathartic. You find some healing in just pouring out the personal journey. Then you tell it. So you're vulnerable and you open up and you bring it out into the public. But then something really magical happens where me, Austin, Mandy, all of the readers of your story become impacted, become inspired, and learn something that they can apply in their own lives. There's nothing like it. So that is what I love most about doing these books.
Very well said.
Very well said.
So just
And-
for
and-
time
just
purposes, go ahead, Mandy. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and can I also praise Daphne for being such an incredible human being and a professional editor, publisher, all that she does. She has so much ability and compassion and kindness and patience and consistency. We could go on all day, but I know firsthand that I am proud and honored to be called, or call her my friend, my publisher, my colleague. Bravo. Thank you, Daphne, for all that you do.
Daphne. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Mandy.
Thank you, Daphne.
Yep. And so Greg has a quote he wants to share from Dr. Grant, and then we're going to move in to close this out. We got 5 minutes left. Can you believe it?
I saw some comments in the chat box. So I just wanted to give Dr. Grant's quote, and Daphne kind of touched on it. We all have to live, laugh, learn, and leave a legacy.
Love and leave a legacy.
Leave a legacy. Yep.
It's, Dr. Grant, his influence is on everyone here. His sayings, his knowledge. He has a depth of knowledge, but then he makes it simple, like with the PMS, you know, and all the other things that he brings. So we're going to do a follow-up on that. I'm humbled. I want to give a shout out to Mama Mo, Alchemy of the Moon Princess. That's the name of her title. She wasn't here today, so you're going to want to absolutely dive into her story because it is, wow. Her as a human overcoming cancer and what she's doing today, you absolutely want to get that. You absolutely want to get this book. So make sure you buy this book. We have the link in the chat. Let us know if you purchased it, even on the playback. If this is a playback, just type in you purchased it so we can honor you and say thank you. And I want to share the two. I'm going to share the two main factors according to Brigham Young study, and then I'm just going to share. You know, I'm in the book too. I wrote a chapter in the book as well, and we'll talk about that more later. But I'll touch on it today. So the two main indicators, according to Brigham Young study, with thousands of people, thousands, they have a whole list, and then you get to the top two. What are the top two major factors? Number one is your close personal relationships. Your close personal relationships. And I want to hit on this. This is why it's so important that we come to a state of peace with whatever's happened in a past relationship. That you may not be able to bring yourself to forgive right now for some of you. If you can move to forgiveness, it's so important. Love and forgiveness go hand in hand. But if you can't get there, I want you to find peace in yourself because it affects your biochemistry. It's one of the top two impactors on your health. And the top one, believe it or not, is right hand in hand. And that is social integration. Social integration. More specifically, community. That's why we have a community called ACT, accountability, community, coaching, transformation, because we need to be accountable. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but there's some people in life that don't have accountability, community, social integration literally impacts our health. That's why I've been so passionate about building our community. And even what we're doing today, just what we're doing today is a form of community and social integration. It's impacted your biochemistry just showing up here. Even if you're as a listener, the Wayne Dyer story is the watcher of a good deed. The good deed, the person who does the good deed gives money to a homeless, feeds the homeless. They get a biochemistry exchange that's good for their body. But the watcher, the observer, also gets biochemistry. So we must step into community. We must get over ourselves and find the balance of where we can be in commune and also in the silence, because it's a major factor on our health. So we got 2 minutes left. I just want to say, before I turn it back over to you, Mandy, I am so humbled. I'm honored. I want everybody to read these stories. I want you to get the book. You see, you know what it's going to do for your life. And one of the stories in the last book we did, this was a different topic, but there was somebody who was suicidal that picked up the book and read it through. It literally changed their life. So that's how powerful these stories are. Mandy, we got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just thank you to everyone for being here. What an honor, what a privilege, what a pleasure to hear the stories and to even be impacted myself and to know that this book is going to be a huge, huge help on people's health turnarounds in all areas of life. I'm so grateful to Austin, to Daphne, and to each and every one of you. I'll just get into a quick recap. These are my biggest takeaways that the co-authors brought out anyway. To help people so much more. Not to quit, be teachable. Consider that there may be other answers. Find the breakthrough to gaining the information right from the beginning. Once you've got the information, then you can apply that wisdom and get through. Mindset is key, as Austin just brought out from this study. To gain our inner peace, we have to make forgiveness and peace with past relationships. Might not be able to do it right away, but love and forgiveness go hand in glove. Find the peace first in here. the rest will come. And a key component around that is social integration, which is community, and we have the ACT program. Amy's point was that you matter. We all matter. We all have this unique story and skill inside of us. For ourselves first, we matter. Feed, nourish, and keep ourselves filled up first, then we can give it out to others. Simon found peace in his self-esteem and growth after overcoming eating disorders and being subjected to various things in South Africa. He found his breakthrough in university, turned his health story around by running and jogging. Greg, we talked about Dr. Grant, and again, that's a quote from Dr. Grant: live, laugh, learn, and leave a legacy. And of course, Dr. Grant always inspires us and brings a great deal of humor to it. I loved the fact that there are disciplines to execute, and these are the disciplines that drive us. And that was by Joe. Joe, that was priceless. And you can't, I've not got this quote quite right. You can't wait for life to unhard itself, I guess, before you find happiness. I think that was the gist of it. Daphne, I loved your summarization here. We all go through challenging times. Some of us, we don't know what if we can pull through, but we're all the stories are palpably relatable. They can show us how we can pull through. It's a gift of finding those solutions, and healing comes when we hear the journey that others have exposed to us through their vulnerability and making it public. So that's how the readers become impacted, inspired, and they learn. So overall, this has been an inspiring, motivating, moving, impactful, and powerful summit from incredible human beings. And as I'm saying it, I've got goosebumps. You're also loving, so kind, so coming from a heart centered of self-service to help other people. And you do it because of your faith and trust in God and never giving up. And I absolutely honor each and every one of you for doing this for humanity. Love and hugs and namaste to all of you.
Much love. Stay tuned for the follow-up. We're out of time. Thank you so much, Mandy, for that beautiful recap. Stay tuned for more, everyone. We're so glad you were here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Great day, everyone. Bye.